Continuing with principles of symbolic interaction, we move on to meanings, symbols, and interaction. So meanings and symbols which are attached to with the different realities of society, these allow people to carry on distinctively human action and interaction. Because whenever we say something, it has an influence on the other person, and that becomes a stimulant, and there is some kind of response. So when we have that, the two kinds of behavior comes into existence. One is covert behavior, the other is overt behavior. Covert behavior is more like thinking process involving the, let's say, identification of the symbol and then the meanings attached to those symbols. So that's the thinking process. That's the covert behavior. Then there is a overt behavior which takes place, let's say, in the presence of others. So this is the actual action performed in the, let's say, presence of the other individuals. So that is how this interpretation leads to, let's say, action and then interaction. So social interaction, in social interaction, people symbolically communicate the meanings to each other. And when we try to communicate something, then the other party tries to make, let's say, sense out of that. They try to interpret it, and then they act accordingly. Now, their action again becomes a stimulus for the first party, and that is how there is a mutual interaction, let's say, between the individuals. So the fifth one is making choices. So people are able to modify or alter the meanings and symbols that they used in action and interaction on the basis of their interpretation of the situation. Now, these symbols stand for the realities, whether that's a physical reality or that's a non-physical reality. So people have the meanings attached with that. These meanings could be changed over time. The reality could change over time. So that is how the human beings have the ability to modify the meanings, to make, let's say, new meanings or give new meaning to that reality. So a particular meaning might be a specific situation, related to a specific situation. Just like look at the education. So education might have a variety of meanings. Is it specifically restricted to what we have in schools? Or it might be, let's say, anywhere out of school. That's education. That's more like learning. Anything in any situation. The sixth point is that thinking ability helps in altering the meanings. So people are able to make these modifications and alterations because they have the ability to act with each other, interact with themselves as well as with others as well. So as we looked at the covert behavior and then the overt behavior. Covert is more like thinking ability. So stimulus is there, then we try to think about the meanings attached to that. So can examine the possible, let's say, courses of action of that particular stimulus. So we have to assess the relative advantages and disadvantages of taking this action or that action. And then we try to make choice related to the, let's say, particular situation. Finally, we see that because of all that interaction, there are group formations and then ultimately there are societies. So intertwined patterns of action and interaction make up groups and societies. So action affects the other party, action becomes a stimulant, other party responds, and there is exchange of interactions. So human society is to be seen as consisting of people who are interaction. I think acts are not isolated pieces. These are, let's say, as part of the group. ग्रुप की डेफिनेशन ये है कि दो या दो से ज्यादा लोग जो हैं वो आपस में इंटरैक्ट कर रहे हैं. अगर इंटरैक्ट नहीं कर रहे तो शायद हम इसको ग्रुप ना कहें. सो एक्शंस आर, लेट्स से, इंटरट्वाइंड. देयर कुड बी, let's say, collective action. It's not the individual against an individual. This could be a group against a group, and that might take entirely a new shape. Mob भी हो सकता है, audience भी हो सकती है, कोई game भी हो सकती है, कुछ भी हो सकती है. So from micro level we can move on to macro level focus of the society as well.